And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in the Long Dark. We've got a couple leads where it could be, and then other than that, we're just gonna move on to look elsewhere, pretty much. Which will be a little bit of a pain, because we'll have to then carry one in by climbing. Because even if there is one in HRV, we're not looking for the one in HRV. I think that one's rare enough that we're not going to try.
We're gonna need to eat soon.
Yeah, found hint, might have been a lower difficulty hint, that one of these two buildings might have a battery in them, which is unusual. So we'll go pop into these buildings quickly and check. But yeah, apparently HRV is the only one that isn't guaranteed to have one. It isn't guaranteed to not have one because each and every one of those cars could hypothetically have one. It's just, in my case, the likelihood of having one was not enough to make it a guaranteed of having one. That's what I'm finding. Checked upstairs here already. Okay. We'll check the other house quickly. And then we're going to start leaving, because at that point, I think the answer to if it's in the zone is no.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
But yeah, one of the hints where it was in this one of these two buildings was like right next to the bathroom, which is an unusual place for it to be. So it was worth coming in and checking, as that would have been a place where if it had been there, I would have missed it. We may take a detour to eat some of our cooked meat before leaving. But yeah, there's definitely no shortage of batteries in the game world. If for no other reason, there's a ton of them down at Forsaken Airfield. Just, that's a really long way to haul a battery. I know from earlier that we have one at Pleasant Valley. We're not going to go down there this stream. Had we repaired this quicker, we'd go down there, but
Too much stuff to carry.
obviously we'll need that for Pleasant Valley. And then occasionally you actually find, like, we didn't get lucky with the bunker, but we could have found a battery in the bunker, for example. Okay, I need to do a little bit of inventory triage, otherwise we're not going to be light enough to leave. So let's go back to Grey Mothers and do the inventory triage in Grey Mothers. And then it's leaving. A couple different ways to go. I think we're going to take the route back to Trappers, as that'll be the quickest route down to Pleasant Valley.
Cold is making my head feel thick.
So I'm not sure where we're going to get the battery for this one,
Looks
but
like I
we'll
made it
come
through
back
another
with the
night.
battery once we find a battery. At least in this case, we know it's the only thing we need, so worst case scenario, we can leave a bunch of equipment behind that we normally bring for like hunting purposes or safety purposes, whatever. Best drop the carrying load.
Never felt so cold in my life. This pack is getting kind of heavy.
So we're going to want some fuel if we swing it for the purposes of staying warm. We don't need 14 sticks, we need like 1. Okay, that would actually technically be enough by itself. We'll leave potato behind. We'll leave some water behind. We'll leave some of the medicine behind. I think technically the ruined stuff is not usable anyway, so we'll leave that behind. We don't need the canisters, leave that behind. Don't need socks. There is a use case for the accelerant, so we'll take the accelerant with us. Oh, I don't need as many flares. Honestly, I don't need that many flares either, but that's at least closer to the appropriate amount. We'll leave the scrap metal behind, and then we'll grab a few torches. So we got some bad torches. Which might seem like a weird statement to say, gotten some bad torches, but by picking up some bad torches, that means we've got stuff that we don't mind burning. So yeah, 2 ways out. We can go via the basin. I don't think there's one in the basin, but I wouldn't also be surprised if there was one in the basin. I think we're just going to focus on going the Pleasant Valley route. So as to be ready for repairing the Pleasant Valley radio tower in the next stream. Which should be pretty quick, because I think we're either carrying everything we need or we know it's there and we'll pick it up when we hit the radio tower, so it should be quick in and out. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where we run into batteries that might be feasible to drag over.
Can't feel my feet.
Do a quick once over here to make sure it's not like
Wait.
hidden in this building.
I'm so cold, I'm warming up again.
Yeah, not in this building. Nor behind it. I'm going to stop the warm-up once we get down the climb, but
So cold.
and that's mainly because I'm not too worried about taking a little bit of cold damage right now. Because we're at full condition, and climbing 2 climbs is going to be very rapidly reducing our fatigue. Yeah, sorry if there's not a lot of commentary. I'm got the proverbial mental gears grinding on where I could have left some batteries that we can haul. Nothing's coming to mind right away. Well, besides Forsaken Airfield, which I'd prefer not to do. There was plenty down at Forsaken Airfield. So I suppose if we would do that, we'd probably set up the Travois and use a Travois to move stuff. Let's use a quick hour to get fatigue and some warmth back. Then we'll shimmy up the next rope. Oh, of course we get a blizzard as we're warming up here. Nope, I must have picked the wrong vector there. Shouldn't be a severe drop-off. As a severe drop-off would be the drop-off into the lower basin, which I don't know if you can actually really go down.
So cold. people lay down for
Okay, you can. So yeah, got slightly lost in the blizzard. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, as long as I'm not too lost. Oh, there's the marker telling me where the climb is. Up the climb we go. So, yep. Hope everyone has been enjoying the stream and enjoying the videos. Didn't necessarily make as much progress today as I'd hoped, because we spent a lot of time looking for a battery and didn't find one. Yeah, we should hopefully get a little bit more progress going tomorrow, or next stream. As I do know where the battery is for Pleasant Valley, so it's simply just walking over to Pleasant Valley and setting that one up. If we get lucky, we don't have to necessarily carry the battery from the far ends of the universe. It is going to slow us down unless I build a Travois. And I suppose we can take the detour to make the Travois. Well, I suppose even if we make the Travois is still slower walking than being under carrying capacity. So will not necessarily be the most casual of transports to get it in. And when my luck, the moment I get it in will be the moment we find one in Pleasant Valley, or find one in Mountain Town just to screw with me. Resources always tend to pop up in abundance when you don't need them anymore. This is my experience. Like the hammers, it's like, yep, we got lots of hammers. Do we need the hammers anymore? Not really. But we know where they all are now. If I was searching for coal, it would probably make sense to have the lantern going or a torch going, but we're just going to walk through here quickly to get to where we're going. Hopefully, eventually making this a short part, and just ending this video when we get to Trappers. You know, I think this part might be darker in the recording than I would ideally recommend, but that'd be the case sometimes. Because I'm wandering through a dark cave that has enough visibility that I can path through it, but I'm recognizing in the video that might not be the greatest for your viewing pleasure. It's still a blizzard. Yeah, if we were to continue this part, it would just be moving over into Pleasant Valley, I suppose. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and just make this a shorter part. This will be like a 25 part, or 25, or 12, 22, 23-minute part. Instead of the 30 to 40 that I've been recording this stream.
Damn.
Okay, got our character hydrated. And yeah, I think I will go ahead and end this part by giving the character a nice sleep here to pass the blizzard. And then we'll be traveling in the next part to Pleasant Valley, unless I look up and find like an obvious, yes, there's definitely a battery location between this part and next part. So if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you're enjoying. They'll probably be brought up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, the next stream will be in 5 days. So I hope you've been enjoying, and we'll tune in for the next stream. Until then, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time until the next part, and bye for now.